That's right, baby. 4th of July, Independence Day. Today we're gonna do a version of, that's right, what's more American than apple pie? Except we're gonna do an upside down apple pie tart tartin. We're gonna be using Granny Smith apples. We're gonna make a bourbon caramel sauce, and then we're gonna finish it with a little bit of puff pastry so that we have something to actually bite into the crust. What do you say we light this firework? All right, let's make our bourbon caramel. I'm gonna take an ice cube and put it in a hot saute pan and melt it with granulated sugar. This is gonna be the start of our caramel sauce. What we're doing is we're dissolving the sugar into the water. Then we're gonna cook it down. You don't wanna walk away from this because it happens very fast. And once it happens, you gotta jump on it or else it's gonna burn and then it's gonna taste bitter. So we wanna kinda hang out for a sec and let the sugar and the water dissolve while the sugar starts to caramelize. It's a quick process. Put bourbon in hand. I hope I got enough left for the pie. As soon as the water evaporates, the sugar's gonna start to turn brown. We're rounding third right here. A little bit more, a little bit more. This is a blonde caramel. A blonde caramel. Okay, see how fast it turns brown? All right, see that color? Showtime. Woo! I'm that Yankee Doodle Dandy. So we want to dissolve the sugar into the bourbon while we burn off the alcohol. See how we got like lumps in there? We want it to all dissolve into it. So keep shaking it, keep shaking it. Now we're gonna add a teaspoon of heavy cream. And we're gonna finish it with some whole butter. Break up the butter so it melts evenly without breaking the sauce or separating the sauce. And we've just made caramel. Ta-da! Now we set that off to the side, turn off the heat. I've already peeled a Granny Smith apple. Granny Smith apples are tart, they're dry, they're great for baking. So I already peeled one. And now I'm gonna show you how to take the core out. You probably want to use a smaller knife than what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna choke up on the tip. And then I'm gonna use my finger as a guide, and I'm gonna run the tip of the knife around the core to take the seeds out without cutting myself. And then, boom. I'm gonna cut off the stem. Now we're gonna take our mandolin and we're gonna slice our apple thin on the mandolin. Hey, it rhymes. Watch your fingers, watch your fingers, watch your fingers. Ultimately, for a dish this big, about a half an apple. So now we're gonna first take the caramel that we just made and we're gonna put that on the bottom of the dish. This is gonna act as our sauce when we're done with it. Now we're gonna layer our apples into the caramel, covering every inch of the inside of the bowl because it looks like that we have a lot of apple here, but when it cooks, it's gonna shrink. So we wanna cover the whole thing. And then all of these other little pieces, we just kinda wanna stick them in the center. That's gonna stabilize our tart. The puff pastry is gonna go on top of the Apple Tarte Tartin, which ultimately, when we mold this will be the bottom, the base. You want to get something about the same size of the dish that you're using to make the tartine, and you're going to turn it upside down and just kind of punch it out so that we have a perfect fitting circle. And then we pop that on top. I'm going to take a piece of aluminum foil on a metal plate, and then we're going to pop this in the oven for about 15 minutes. The reason why I put it like this is because while this is cooking, the caramel is going to be bubbling, and instead of making a mess in your oven, you make a mess on the aluminum foil where you can just throw it away. 400-degree oven, 15 minutes. All right, so our 15 minutes is up. Let's see our apple pie. All right. Remember what I was talking about with the aluminum foil and the caramel all over it? This is why. So then we're gonna pick this off the aluminum. We're gonna take our plate on top of it and then flip it over.
Right.
Okay. This is the hardest part, getting it out of the container. But if you do it right, it should work. Now, if you look, before I unleash the dish, all that bourbon caramel we made, that acts as our sauce on the bottom. So let's see what we got. Of course, the dish is hot, so we take a towel and see, our apples are on top. Our puff pastry acts as our crust, and we have an upside down apple tart. I would serve this and eat it while it's still warm. I have some homemade vanilla ice cream, but you can pick any flavor you like. We're gonna finish it with that. This is how Yankee Doodle went to town. Happy Independence Day, everybody. Apple Tarte Tartin with vanilla ice cream and a bourbon caramel sauce.